Hi everyone, we're just going to give people a couple of extra minutes just because people are still joining. Right, hi everyone. So thank you so much for joining the call. And my aim here is to hopefully make this take as little time as possible. So please do not worry, this shouldn't be a long one. And thank you so many of us for joining this. I've recorded it predictably, because we got it together at quite short notice, a few people have had to send apologies. So we're recording the meeting as well, so we can send it out to them. Most of you already know me, but just for a quick recap for those that don't, I'm Sam. I'm program lead for the NIHR Health and Social Care Internships, South London. We had our first day with our new interns yesterday. They are all remarkable. It's all going to be great. I'm so happy having met the cohort. They're really brilliant. We thank you very much for agreeing to become mentors for them. What I thought we'd quickly do today is just go a little bit through. I've got a handful of slides just to explain sort of what was put in the bid, if that makes sense, about the mentorship, and also what the sort of expectations are of the interns and things like that as we go through, because I think a few people thought that might be useful. I'm on my laptop today, so I might not be able to see hands super easily. Just interrupt me if you need to say anything. Do not worry. This is going to be really quite informal. So let me find my slides. Right. Can people see a title slide? Excellent, brilliant, thank you. So as I've already said, thank you for coming. The plan was today just do a quick run through of some of the things we said in the bid, things that the NHR are expecting, and things that the interns are expected to do and expecting of us throughout the process. So give me half a tip. There we go. So, a little bit of a recap about the internship. I appreciate some of you are also on the program management group and are probably sick to death of hearing about this. But just for those of you that aren't, these particular internships, these are 300 hours of clinical release over a 10-month program, which, to save anyone doing a bit of mental arithmetic, it basically works out a day a week if they work a sort of 7.5-hour day. There's several elements to the program. There's workshops. So we do a series of 10 workshops over the 10 months. Which are full day in-person things. We have them up at Guy's and St Thomas's, and they've each got a topic. The one we just did yesterday was obviously a lot about sort of welcoming and introduction, but the one for February, for instance, is about patient and public involvement in research, because we wanted to get that in really quickly. They also do a placement. So there's a 60-hour placement in the late spring, early summer, which we're hoping for them to do in either academic research, health research units, or within research delivery environments across our networks. And some of you are probably already aware that you might have one or two coming your way from that as well. The mentorship is the other really key component of this. We're really hoping that actually that's going to make a huge difference to our interns. I think all of us probably know the benefit of mentorship and how amazing it is to have somebody with more experience than you who's there to sort of listen about your goals and ideas. So we're really hoping it will find a really key part of the program for them. We are asking them to develop a research question during the internship. So they're not actually doing a full project, but we ask them to come up with their own question that they can work through themselves. We think it probably helps consolidate the learning, makes it a bit more real because it's related to their areas of practice and areas of interest. And also it gives us a nice sort of structure to hang a lot of the assignments around, that because what we're going to ask them to do at the end is prepare a little poster and give a little 5-minute pitch about their research question. So that's a key part of our structure. We do ask them to keep a competency portfolio. This is based on ones we've used at GSTT with Acorn internships in the past, including some elements from national documentation about health and care research competencies. It's not, if you like, there is obviously for their CPD, it is not endorsed by an MC or HCPC or anything, so it doesn't form part of any formal registration program. We're really in about trying to get people to kickstart a career in or using research. The NIHR was very, very broad that it considers this to be very much its first rung on the ladder type offering. So they said people who are just interested in research, people who perhaps want to work in research delivery, perhaps people that do know they want to be clinical academics, and also perhaps people that are aiming for some sort of leadership or management role, but really feel that being research literate will help them make a far better go of that. They are registered health and care professionals from all over South London with a wide variety of backgrounds and a wide variety of different stages of their clinical careers. We've got everything through from most of our interns are band 5 and 6, but we've actually got 7s, and I think we've got an 8 as well. So their clinical careers are really across a full spectrum, but most of them have not got a lot of research experience at all. This slide was written last week. Having spoken to them all yesterday, I can tell you that straight off, there is a lot more than I was expecting who may have put that they're relatively new in research. But talking to them yesterday, not all, but certainly a comfortable majority were saying to me, you know, if I'm really honest, what I've always really secretly thought I would like to do is do a PhD. So actually, quite a few of them have got really quite high hopes, which I think will be lovely because obviously that aligns with a lot of our interests. But there are some that want to do research delivery, and there are some that are still just working out what they'd like to be doing. This is the structure of those workshops that I mentioned to you. We are very lucky the quantitative and qualitative methods one's going to partially be delivered with LSBU, who previously ran a different iteration of this scheme when the ICA pathway was still a sort of major structure of the NIHR. So this is what we're talking to them about, and also thank you because I know there's people on the call who are already involved in some of these days for us as well. So what's the ask of the mentorship process? So we're asking you to meet your mentees for 1 hour for each of the 10 months. So it'll be 10 hours in total. What we're hoping is you can help them develop their research question. As I think is very common, at the beginning of the journey, the research question is often quite ambitious and is more like the RCT that's going to be the doctoral or postdoctoral application in 5 years. So we're hoping you guys can help them sort of, we'll obviously work on it in the sessions, but help them rationalize something into something that could conceivably be done by someone who's early career, and also that's going to give them a lot of things to think about and really keep their interest as they work through the program. We are asking them to discuss the competencies with you, and we're hoping that you might be able to give them some sort of guidance to where they might go to work on the different things. And, you know, some of them will also be things I'm telling them sort of bond or obvious for the PPIE things. Go and have a look at what the NIHR's offerings on PPIE, all this kind of stuff. But if you know, they've got some more specific questions, we're expected to be hopefully to be able to do a little bit of sort of signposting type work. What I've said to the interns is the competencies are very much for them and their own CPD. I have no interest in marking 23 competency portfolios, and we don't have the time within the budget for you guys to do it either. So this is their CPD, this is their portfolio, this is for them to show what they have got out of this year. We are encouraging them to share, discuss them with their mentors, hopefully meet all of them and be able to be really happy that they've got a lot out of this. But as I said, we're not asking anyone to mark them. Likewise with the research question, we're certainly not expecting you to have to mark draft proposals or draft posters or anything like that. We're very much seeing this role as guiding rather than teaching. The workshops, so they are only the 10, they are pretty full on. They're a full day and they're quite a lot of teaching on them. They shouldn't need formal explaining of individual topics. We're hoping you guys can just sort of guide them to some resources and encourage them to think about how they look at research, how they use research, the part it plays in their practice and in reflection. Also, we'd love for you to attend the celebration event that we're going to have at the end of the 10 months. You obviously don't have to, but we're going to try and book somewhere quite nice, possibly something like the Robin Suite and Guy's Tower if people have been there, and get some nice lunch, and they're all going to get to present their research question. So obviously that is not a compulsory part, but you're all very, very definitely invited, and we'd love to see you there if you wanted to come along. So we've pretty much chatted through all of these, but we would ideally like you to familiarise yourself with the scheme so you know a little bit about what we're asking them. I think on the previous email, Barbara has sent you all their handbook. If not, let me know. And basically, we just need you to sort of leaf through it and just sort of make yourself sort of relatively familiar with what we're asking of them. Obviously, there's the monthly meeting. Which we said can be in person or in teams. It's to be agreed between the mentor and mentee. We're hoping you can advise them on resources, direct them to training, e-learning, books to read, papers to look at, things that will make this interesting, because they are doing quite a lot of self-directed study as part of this program. So we're really hoping you can help them advise them on research and various other things that you might want to do with that. As we said, oversee the competencies, but you're not expected to mark them, help them think through their research question. Also, we've said provide feedback on any concerns and advise on next steps. But obviously, as well as talking to the mentee, what we have said to both the interns and we're saying to you is we know these relationships are really, really key. If for whatever reason you feel it isn't working, please do get in touch with me. We obviously have our generic program address, but I think it's probably better if any concerns about mentorship and mentees come straight to me at my address, which you should all have. And therefore I can make sure that I'm 100% on top of anything that's happening there. I'm not anticipating any problems. They all seem ridiculously keen. We made them jump through quite a lot of hoops to get their clinical areas to agree to release them. So I'm not expecting any of them to, disappear into the ether and never be seen again or anything like that. But if there are any problems, if you don't feel like you're getting anywhere with them, or for whatever reason you're a bit concerned about the relationship, do get in touch with me so we can help you manage that. But at the same time, please feel free to feedback any direct concerns to them if you think there's things that they're not doing that perhaps they could be. This is what we've told the interns is the expectation of them. We're telling them it is their responsibility to arrange and attend the meetings. So it's up for them to be sending you the invites. And we're also telling them if they have to rearrange, these guys are still working clinically for most of their work. We are still very much in a winter pressures season. If they have to suddenly cover a clinical shift, we're saying it's on them to inform you in a timely fashion, cancel the meeting and reschedule when you're next both available. So we've told them very much that ball's in their court. You shouldn't be chasing them. We've told them they need to work on the competencies and share them with you. And also that it's their responsibility ultimately to put the research question together well. You're just there to help them out. And if you do give them any feedback for anything you think they're missing, anything you're concerned they're not really taking on board, they're there to act on your concerns. That's what we've told them very expressly in the handbook and also in the session we did yesterday, that's what the expectations are for the interns. So that's the end of the little miniature slide deck. So I shall stop sharing that. I was just about to say, has anyone got any questions or concerns or comments? And Werner already has. Hello, Werner.
I hope you indulge me. I've got a few.
No. I'm very happy.
Will the portfolio be on Padlet?
No.
Okay.
Not at the moment, effectively, because we've got these guys coming from all sorts of different organisations that don't always have access to anything, and a lot of them are quite unfamiliar with it. So at the moment, we've given them it as a Word document.
Okay. And so they present the poster presentation. With the proposal, you're saying that obviously we're not going to be required to assess that. Is that going to be submitted for any form of assessment or not? Because there's the template. There's a template in the document. No,
there is a template, but yeah, there's no form.
That's just to guide them to do it, but not for assessment. Okay. On the competencies in the handbook, there is like a sign-off page, and I just had some questions about, was that signing off? Was that you signing off?
We have, as I said, asked, told them that they really should be looking for their mentor's sign off. But again, it's really up to them to ensure that they are completing it. I mean, having again also met these guys, even though they're relatively new to research, these are all working healthcare professionals. So I'm very much putting on them, this is your CPD proof that you did not waste that time. It is your responsibility to get it filled in properly. But
So
yes, we are asking for a mentor sign off.
So I'm happy with this bit on the actual form that I sign and date.
Yeah.
It was just this little bit at the end I was a bit confused about.
It's supposed to be the bit on the top page there, 31, that's supposed to be me, just to say that I've seen them all. And then underneath, that's supposed to be them.
Okay, lovely.
On the name and signature there.
Lovely. That's really helpful. I'm going to finish asking questions in a minute.
That's right. We have one from you as well, so we'll finish with Werner if that's all right.
With the Acorn interns, I actually have a mental supervision template, which I get the interns to complete and send to me before supervision meetings and after. I don't know if anyone uses anything like it. I'm happy to share it. It will be useful. It's just that the intern completes and sends it to me before the meeting to say what they've done since the last meeting, anything they want particularly discuss, and then after the meeting they record what we discussed and what their actions are, and then we sign it, and it's just a record of that supervision meeting. I don't know if that's something that anyone else would find helpful, but I find it helpful just to help just them have a kind of record of evidence.
I mean, I think that looks like a really
on track.
I think that looks like a really useful document, Werner, if you'd be happy to share it.
Happy to share, yeah. So brilliant. I'll email that to you, Sam.
Fab, and I'll get Barbara to send it all out when she sends slides and recording from today as well.
And my last question was, I put in the chat, it was the date of the celebration event.
That is still in flux because we're waiting to check we can get a venue.
And now I'll be quiet. Thank you.
Marvellous, thank you. Julie.
So thank you, Werner, because you've answered you've asked questions that I also had. So that was really, really helpful. But it's still a little bit more clarification, because in a mentor role, we wouldn't normally assess competencies. And so we can do that through a discussion and we can guide them. But will they be able to do some of these and therefore have them signed off during their placement?
Yeah, so again, we're not asking for, because it doesn't form part of an actual sort of award structure, we can't officially go, well, if you don't manage to see this on your placement, that's it, there's a huge problem. But yes, we absolutely expect that a significant amount of the competencies will be covered by the placement. And in fact, some I don't think they're going to be able to do other than on their placement. So yeah, the placements are all being sent, we'll all be sent copies of this and made aware of the competencies as well.
And not really, just one more question, but it's not really directed to us as what we do. But if they're not submitting anything and nothing's being kind of assessed in any way, what are the kind of success of the program criteria from your point of view, to know that, you know, it's been useful and people are getting what they need out of it, and whether they have achieved? I mean, are you just eyeballing the competencies to kind of double check and their research proposals on the celebration day, or?
Yeah, so the competencies eyeballing is a very fair word for what I suspect will happen. The research proposals and things on the day, we're obviously very keen to see them produce them. For those of you that work with the Acorn interns, it's always been very successful, so we hope that will continue to be. In terms of how we evaluate success of the programme, what we have is quite a lot of evaluation with the students, including, you know, where do you think you are at the beginning, where are you feeling like you'll be at the end, and we're actually going to keep evaluating throughout. We were planning on doing 3 points, but I now think we might up that. We haven't quite decided if we're going to do 4 or do every session, but we're asking them for a lot of evaluation, and also we are busy, even though we've only just started, trying to put in place hopefully for this cohort 1 at least, that we can start tracking whether the course is actually leading them to make any changes in their professional life, and we've also got several talking about things like NIHR pre-docs already. So basically it's a mixture of evaluation and destination tracking. Is the sort of success metrics we need for the NIHR.
Thank you. And I think I may have fibbed, because I do have one more question, if I
That's
could.
Fine. That's
is that all right? Sorry. have we got, and therefore I just haven't seen yet, the list of the workshops and the dates of those? Because with my mentee, we've arranged our meetings for after the workshops after each month, but it'd be quite good to see what's being done in each of those. And I can't remember if I've received it and just need to refresh in a document, or
I
whether
can
It's in the handbook.
Yeah, I
Is
can
it in
quickly
the
share it now,
handbook?
but it's in the handbook.
Oh, fine.
basically,
I've
yeah,
skimmed
so
the handbook, but I just didn't remember seeing that. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, but as I said, it is also it is in the handbook as
That's
well.
fine then. I just missed that bit. Apologies.
No, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, with a bit more detail, in fact, than that in the handbook as well, because we've actually put some of who's speaking and things like that. The PPI one next month should be quite good. We have a number of people, including a former patient of ours at Evelina, that's coming to talk. So I'm very excited about that session.
Thank you.
Obviously, even if people can't think of things this second, you can absolutely email me and Barbara. Yes, Mel.
So my mentee has not contacted me yet. Do I just hold out and wait?
I will prod your mentee.
Okay, thanks.
That's probably the best, because I know who that is. That is fine. Yes, that can be done. They should have done. They were all there yesterday, which I wasn't expecting, because one said they weren't, but they managed to make it. So they were all there yesterday. They've all been prodded to be arranging things with their mentee, but if I will double check with yours. Yeah. Either.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, would be any other meetings for the mentors during the next 10 months as a catch up, or?
Officially, my plan was going to be that obviously you can all contact me, and then we touch base towards the end to hopefully get some evaluation ideas from you guys as well, because this is a 3-year program. We've got all 3 years of funding in one go. You know, if the mentorship needs to work differently next year, then we need to know sooner rather than later. But I hadn't planned any additional catch-up meetings. Do you all think that might be useful? We could always do like a midpoint one. Yeah, I mean, I don't want people to, what I don't want is for people to feel like, oh, I am having concerns, but I'll save it for the meeting. You know, I'd like people to feel they can get in touch whenever they've got concerns. But do we still think, if we still think, I'll see if we can diary a midpoint meeting, which will be somewhere probably end of May, will be our sort of 5-month through. So we can get it in before the school holidays in May or June. Yeah, okay, I'm taking nods and mostly silence that yes, we think that sounds useful, let's put it in. But yes, please do raise concerns before that if you have any. I don't want people feeling they have to leave it. Anyone else got any additional thoughts? No, everybody's happy. As I said, I've met them all yesterday. I had actually the chance to have some very, very brief chats with all of them individually. I am genuinely really impressed. There's an awful lot of enthusiasm for further study. There's a lot of enthusiasm for moving into clinical academic careers or careers using research. And also the organisations, particularly those guys that are coming to us from outside the large teaching hospitals. There's a lot of real enthusiasm in a sort of, oh my God, there's never been anything like this for us. So we've got people who've clearly been sitting on research ideas and dreams for quite a lot of years, which I think is really nice. So yeah, I was really excited meeting them. Yes, Werner.
It's just a final thought, Sam. It's quite nice to know what the kind of research interest is of the other mentors. I know that when I've done intern programs before, people have contacted me and say I'm in mentoring someone that's doing a project that's related to oncology and obviously kind of cancer nursing is my lifelong background in my research area. And I've mentored students that have worked in cardio, and I've contacted, someone that I know is research active in cardio, respiratory or cardiology or something. So, and I know that we're not mentoring them for topic specific stuff, but sometimes it's quite nice to signpost them. So I just think it might be quite nice just to actually, if we had a table of the mentors amongst ourselves and what's our research expertise, that might be helpful. Don't know what other people think.
If everyone would feel comfortable with that being shared, that's absolutely something we could do. Yeah, marvellous. I will add that to actions for us for the meeting then. Yeah, no, that's something we can definitely do. There's people that are not here, but we can double check. But yeah. Anyone got any further thoughts? If not, as I said, I thought this would be about half hour, so this is about what I thought. Marvellous, in which case let's all go and have half hour back in our day. The follow-ups from this, so the email with the tables and that sort of thing might be next week, because the only slight problem with this model is that myself and Barbara, the administrator, are only funded on it 1 day a week for the programme. So I haven't got her technically in the office again till Wednesday. But so don't worry if you don't hear anything in the next couple of days, other than you, Mel, and your mentee. I will go and check what's happening with that. But yes, so it'll probably be next week when you hear from us. But thank you very much for coming along, particularly at short notice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.